People have been waiting patiently. Going to start with Darren in Indianapolis. It's great to have you here. Hello.
Hi, Rush.
Hi.
Rush, my wife, Robin, and I are conservative African-Americans, both born in 1965 and grew up in the 70s in a liberal Democratic household, middle class. As we became adults in the 80s under Reagan, we became aware of the misinformation and lies that the liberal media was putting forth, particularly Reagan economics, which logically made sense. We could never explain that to our relatives. So we were always thankful when conservative media like yourself came along to give us some credibility and not let us feel isolated anymore. And at this current moment, we couldn't agree more with you that the Republican Party as a whole should be embracing conservative media, because this is the time right now to stop this unconstitutional transformation of America.
Amen. A freaking man. Well spoken, Darren. I couldn't put it better myself. And that's saying something. But it's a great reminder. Reaganomics, the 1980s, Ronald Reagan with 2 landslide victories, and Mitt Romney's preferred legacy media was lying about Reagan every day, lying about Reagan policies, lying about Reagan and the Soviet Union and communism, lying about Reagan and his tax cuts, lying, doing everything they could to dissuade people from supporting Reagan. After Reagan won both elections in landslides, they did everything they could to destroy Reagan's character, his good name, his reputation. They tried to gin up hatred for Reagan, just as they tried for Bush and the Iraq War in the second term of W's administration. They didn't succeed with Reagan because the people of this country loved him. Ronald Reagan connected with the American people over the heads of the media. And Reagan had to deal with the media that Mitt Romney longs for. When Ronald Reagan was president, there were just 3 networks: Sam Donaldson, Dan Rather, and Peter Jennings, trying to embarrass him at every press conference. That was it. The New York Times had their reporters and columnists. The Washington Post ditto. And for some of his administration, CNN. The days, apparently, Mitt Romney, the Republican establishment, longed for, was what Ronald Reagan triumphed over. What Ronald Reagan had to do. Ronald Reagan did not have a conservative media and still won 2 landslides. What does that tell you? It tells you that conservatism will win landslide elections when properly articulated, understood, cheerfully and optimistically supported, and that the drive-bys cannot change that. And they know it, by the way. Folks, this is very important. The left in this country knows full well the danger posed by an articulate conservative. That's why they have to destroy them. That's why they have to destroy their credibility, their reputations, what have you. But we all know the Republican establishment, even back then, was not supportive of Reagan, tried to undermine Reagan many times. Not just 1976. They tried to undermine him in 1980 as well. After he won, they all wanted to bask in the glow, but they were never at home with Reagan. They, too, thought Reagan was a little kooky, a little off-center, not quite right. But he won big, and they went along with the run for the good times of it. But they were never, ever of the mind that Reagan was one of them. Reagan remained an outsider throughout even his 2 landslide wins and his 2 successful presidential terms. But it's that media that Mitt Romney, and I know he's not just speaking for himself. To say this, I guarantee you they're all talking about this amongst themselves, and probably have been for a while, longing for the good old days when there weren't anybody in the media holding them to account. Yeah, those were the good old days. The Democrats didn't say anything bad about them. Democrats didn't make up lies about them. They think. This is what's mind-boggling to me. Ronald Reagan was treated with the same abject hatred and disrespect George W. Bush was, as was Richard Nixon. I do not understand longing for those days. I just don't. Anyway, Darren, I appreciate the call. Thanks much.